All right, so get this. We're diving into GPT-4 today.
Okay.
Not just like what is its IS,
Yeah.
but how it's like already changing things. We've got research papers lined up, news articles, even some like insider scoop type stuff.
It really is fascinating how GPT-4 is pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just generating text anymore. It's understanding images, writing code, even composing music.
Like, back up a sec for anyone who hasn't been glued to the AI news lately. What exactly is GPT-4?
So it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 4. It's the latest iteration of this language model from OpenAI. You can think of it like the brainy kid in class who's somehow gotten even smarter.
So it's the 4th generation, meaning they've had like 3 tries at this before.
Yeah.
What makes this one such a leap forward?
It's all in the way GPT-4 learns, deep learning, which is different from how we traditionally program computers. It's more like teaching a kid by showing them tons of examples, rather than giving them strict rules. In this case, GPT-4 was fed mountains of data, text, images, code, and it figured out the patterns itself.
That's kind of freaky, right? Like it's learning by osmosis, but digital osmosis.
Exactly. And within deep learning, there's this thing called transformers. It's kind of like the secret sauce that lets GPT-4 see connections and understand context in a way that earlier models just couldn't.
All right, stop right there. Transformers, like the robots. Help me out here.
Think of it like this. Imagine reading a sentence, but you can only focus on one word at a time. It'd be pretty hard to get the meaning right. So transformers allow GPT-4 to pay attention to all the words in a sentence simultaneously, and even remember previous sentences, just like a human would. That's how it gets context and produces such human-like text.
So it's not just mimicking, it's actually understanding the relationships between words and ideas?
Precisely. And that's where things get really interesting. Because GPT-4 isn't just good at mimicking, it's starting to show signs of actual creativity. We're seeing it write stories with plot twists you wouldn't expect, compose music that's genuinely catchy, even generate code that solves complex problems.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about AI that can actually think creatively? Like a human artist or programmer? That's a whole different ballgame.
It's certainly blurring the lines, one of our sources. An article in Wired highlighted a project where GPT-4 was used to design a new type of antenna. It came up with a design that was not only functional, but also incredibly unique, something a human engineer might not have thought of.
Okay, so it's not just like regurgitating what it's been fed, it's actually coming up with novel solutions. That's impressive to say the least.
It is pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with AI. It's still early days, but the potential here is enormous.
All right, let's get practical for a minute. What does this mean for, regular people? How is GPT-4 actually being used out in the wild?
Well, it's already being integrated into all sorts of applications. One of our sources, a research paper from Stanford, dives into how GPT-4 is being used in education. Imagine a student struggling with a complex concept in physics. They could ask GPT-4 to explain it in a way that makes sense to them, almost like having a personal tutor available 24/7.
That's kind of a game changer, especially for folks who might not have access to the best teachers or tutors. What about other fields? I've heard buzz about GPT-4 in healthcare.
Absolutely. We have a news article here that talks about how doctors are using GPT-4 to help analyze medical images. It can spot patterns and anomalies that might be missed by the human eye, potentially leading to earlier diagnoses.
Whoa. So it's not just about making things easier. It could actually be saving lives. That's pretty intense.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We have reports of GPT-4 being used to draft legal documents, write marketing copy that converts, even create personalized fitness plans. It's becoming this multi-tool that can be applied to almost any task that involves language or understanding information.
All right, my brain's officially buzzing. I think we need to take a breather here and let this all sink in.
Sounds like a good plan. When we come back, we'll delve even deeper into the implications of GPT-4. The good and the, well, maybe not so good.
Okay, I've had a minute to process, and honestly, this GPT-4 thing is even wilder than I thought. It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie, but it's actually happening.
It really is a pivotal moment. And what's particularly intriguing is how GPT-4 isn't just changing what we do, it's challenging how we think about creativity and intelligence itself.
So it's not just a fancy tool, it's making us question our own capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
I like where this is going.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about GPT-4 being trained on mountains of data? Well, a lot of that data comes from us. Books, articles, code, even social media posts. It's like GPT-4 has absorbed a collective snapshot of human thought.
So in a way, it's a reflection of humanity, warts and all.
Mm.
That's kind of profound when you think about it.
It is, and it raises some interesting questions. If GPT-4 can generate text that's indistinguishable from human writing, what does that say about the nature of creativity? Is it something unique to humans? Or is it a process that can be replicated, even surpassed by machines?
Whoa. Deep thoughts for a Tuesday afternoon. But you're right, it makes you wonder where the line is between human and machine intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And that line is getting blurrier all the time. We have a study here from MIT that looked at how GPT-4 performs on standardized tests designed to measure human intelligence. The results were, well, let's just say they surprised a lot of people.
Don't leave me hanging. Did it pass with flying colors, become an honorary Mensa member?
It performed exceptionally well, even on tasks that require complex reasoning and problem solving in some cases. It even outperformed human test takers.
Okay, now I'm officially a little freaked out. I always thought we humans had the edge when it came to things like critical thinking and ingenuity.
It's certainly a wake-up call, but I think it's important to remember that GPT-4 is still a tool. It's powerful, yes, but it's only as good as the data it's trained on and the people who are guiding its development.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about how we can use AI to augment our own capabilities, right?
Precisely. Imagine a world where doctors can use GPT-4 to analyze complex medical data. Architects can use it to design sustainable buildings. Writers can use it to break through writer's block and come up with new ideas. The possibilities are truly limitless.
It's like giving everyone superpowers, basically. But with great power comes great responsibility, as they say. We've got to make sure we're using this technology for good.
Absolutely, and that's where things get tricky, because as you pointed out, GPT-4 is a reflection of humanity. And that includes our flaws.
You're talking about bias, right? We touched on that earlier.
Yes. If GPT-4 is trained on data that reflects existing societal biases, it's likely to perpetuate those biases in its output. It's crucial that we're aware of this and actively working to mitigate bias in AI systems.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about making sure the people developing it are thinking critically about the ethical implications.
Exactly. It's about building AI that's fair, transparent, and accountable. And it's about having open and honest conversations about the potential impact of AI on society as a whole.
Those are some heavy topics. But it's important to face them head on, right? We can't just bury our heads in the sand and hope for the best.
Absolutely. This is a conversation we all need to be a part of. The future of AI is not something that's going to happen to us. It's something we're going to shape together.
Well said. So what concrete steps can we take to ensure that AI is used responsibly? What can regular people like me do to be part of this conversation?
That's a great question. First and foremost, educate yourself. The more you understand about AI, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about how it's used and to advocate for responsible development.
So no more burying our heads in the sand, right? We need to be proactive.
Exactly. Stay informed, engage in discussions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Your voice matters.
I like that. It's empowering to know that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Okay, before we wrap up part 2, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about the potential impact of GPT-4 on things like work and education, but what about its impact on our personal lives?
That's an area where we're seeing some really interesting developments. Imagine using GPT-4 to help you write a heartfelt letter, compose a song for a loved one's birthday, or even just brainstorm creative date ideas.
Okay, that's actually kind of sweet. So it's not all about robots taking over the world. It can also be about making our lives richer and more meaningful.
Precisely. AI has the potential to enhance our creativity, our relationships, and our overall well-being. It's about using technology to connect with ourselves and others on a deeper level.
I'm starting to see the potential here. It's not about replacing human connection. It's about finding new ways to express ourselves and build stronger bonds.
And who knows, maybe GPT-4 can even help us understand ourselves a little better along the way.
That's a thought-provoking way to end part 2. When we come back, we'll explore what the future holds for GPT-4 and AI as a whole. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It feels like we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from how GPT-4 learns to its potential impact on everything from art to, well, the very definition of intelligence.
It's been a whirlwind tour, hasn't it? And the crazy thing is we're just scratching the surface. What we're seeing with GPT-4 today is just a glimpse of what's to come.
Okay, so put on your futurist hat for a minute.
Yeah.
What does the AI landscape look like 5-10 years down the line? Do we all have robot butlers serving us GPT-4-generated haikus?
Maybe not haikus, but the idea of AI being seamlessly integrated into our daily lives is definitely on the horizon. Think personalized education tailored to your learning style healthcare systems that can predict and prevent diseases, even cities designed with the help of AI to optimize efficiency and sustainability.
It sounds almost utopian. But I also remember that sci-fi movie where the robots took over. How do we ensure that AI remains a force for good as it gets more sophisticated?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that researchers, policymakers, and frankly, everyone needs to be grappling with. One key aspect is focusing on what's called explainable AI. Right now, GPT-4 can sometimes feel like a black box. We know it works, but we don't always understand why it makes the decisions it does.
So it's like trusting a GPS to get us somewhere without knowing how it chooses the route. Kind of unsettling.
Exactly. Explainable AI aims to make the decision-making processes of AI systems more transparent and understandable to humans. This is crucial for building trust and ensuring that these systems are used responsibly and ethically.
Transparency is key, especially when we're talking about systems that could have a profound impact on our lives. What about the folks who are worried about AI taking over their jobs? Is that a legitimate concern?
It's a valid concern, and it's something we can't just brush aside. The nature of work is undoubtedly going to change as AI becomes more capable. But instead of viewing it as a threat, I think we need to shift our perspective and see it as an opportunity.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
How do we turn this potential job crisis into an opportunity?
Think about it this way. What are the things that humans are uniquely good at? Creativity, critical thinking, empathy, problem solving. These are skills that are going to be even more valuable in an AI-powered world.
So it's not about competing with machines. It's about focusing on the things that make us human.
Precisely. And AI can actually help us in those areas. Imagine using GPT-4 to brainstorm creative solutions, analyze complex data to make better decisions, or even personalize education and training programs to help people develop the skills they need to thrive in this new world.
It's about working alongside AI, not against it. That's a much more optimistic outlook.
Yeah.
But let's be real, there are folks out there who are using AI for less than noble purposes. How do we address the potential for misuse, especially as these systems become more powerful?
It's a constant arms race, unfortunately. As AI gets better at generating realistic text images and even videos, the potential for misuse increases. Deepfakes, misinformation, even AI-generated spam are all real concerns.
So it's like any powerful tool. It can be used for good or for evil. What can be done to combat these darker applications of AI?
There's no easy answer, but one crucial step is raising awareness. The more people understand about the potential for misuse, the better equipped they'll be to spot it and call it out.
So education is key, again, both for the developers and the users of this technology.
Absolutely. We also need to develop better tools for detecting and mitigating AI-generated fakes and misinformation. And frankly, we need to have some tough conversations as a society about how we regulate the use of AI, especially in areas like political campaigns or national security.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But I have to say, despite the potential challenges, I'm still optimistic about the future of AI.
Me too. At its core, AI is about amplifying human intelligence and creativity. It's a tool that can help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to poverty to disease.
And if we can navigate the ethical challenges and use it responsibly, AI has the potential to make the world a better place for everyone.
Well said. It's been an enlightening deep dive, and I encourage our listeners to continue exploring this fascinating and rapidly evolving world of AI. Stay curious, ask questions, and be part of the conversation.
Because the future of AI is ultimately up to all of us. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.